Welcome back, everybody. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. Caught my 41 male wife, 43 female, secretly messaging and flirting with the ex-boyfriend. She's still doing it. What now? My wife and I have been together for over 20 years, married for over 15. We started dating when I was 19, and she was my first and only serious girlfriend. Her life and childhood before we met was really rough, and was much different than my altogether average childhood. She grew up in a dysfunctional household, alcoholic father, and developed behavioral problems that manifested as things like promiscuity and drug addictions, which resulted in her spending time in foster care, where she was sexually abused, and she eventually ended up in jail. She got out, got clean, got a job, started to turn her life around, and met me. We got married, had kids, currently elementary middle school aged, and now here we are. Fast forward to 2019. I was having a good year. I was in great physical shape, and I was navigating a major career transition. The career thing was challenging, but it was manageable since my health and my family/marriage were, I thought, going well. But in the summer, things started going downhill. I injured myself and ended up needing surgery that involved a long recovery time. Thankfully, I thought, I still had a great marriage and wife to support me through this. And she did. I couldn't have gotten through the first few months of recovery without her. At this point, I was incredibly thankful for her and her support, and I was feeling good about our relationship, but something felt off. I was feeling a little too dependent, needy, and I started to notice some changes in my wife that had been occurring over the last year. For example, she began losing a lot of weight, about 50 pounds. She began focusing a lot on her appearance, buying new shoes, buying new skin and hair care products, and spending a lot of time on skin or hair routines. Her libido went way up, and we were having more and better sex than we had in a long time. She started saying things to me like, "If you're going to cheat, please talk to me about it first." I have never cheated, nor am I someone who would do that. Earlier in the year, she asked me if I'd be okay with her reaching out to an old ex-boyfriend. We'll call him George, because he showed up on Facebook, and she'd been feeling bad about the fact that she cheated on him 25 years ago. She never had sex with George, but she felt that she'd wronged him and wanted to apologize and come to some closure. I gave her the okay to do this, and didn't really think all that much of it at the time. She mentioned George's name in passing a few times over the course of a couple months, and I started to get suspicious. So late last year, I returned from a work trip, and I looked through her phone. We've always had each other's passwords, and I found a secret text thread with George. She had deleted most of the history, but most of the texts I saw were from her. It was a little flirty, but ended essentially with, "We're both married, and this needs to stop." I confronted her about it, and she was immediately super apologetic. She said she started going to therapy specially because of her challenges with this guy, and she agreed to unfriend him and cut off all communication. A couple weeks later, we had a fight about it again, mainly because I was still feeling crappy and anxious. She freaked out, left the house, disabled location services, changed her phone password and her social media passwords. She came back after about an hour, but to this day has not changed her passwords back or told me her new passwords, and she does not intend to. A few days after this fight, she went out with some friends. I still had her computer password and her texts synced to her computer, so I looked again. And she was texting a friend saying that George might be in the area and she might want to meet up with him. So I confronted her about this again, and after lying about it to my face, she eventually came clean. She was not apologetic. She walked back her previous apologies and acted like she never really did anything wrong by just texting this guy. She started shifting the blame to me, saying I shouldn't have looked through her phone and that she can never forgive me for doing that, and saying that I've been too needy or clingy over the last 20 plus years, and that she can no longer manage my anxiety by changing her behavior, and that she's more depressed than she has ever been in her life. All of this pretty much broke me. I've been gradually grieving, dealing with these feelings, going to therapy and medication, and have been reconnecting with friends for support, and all of this has been helpful. But I'm not seeing any major changes from her. She's still going to therapy, but she won't talk much about it. And I don't see her doing many of the things she says that her therapist is telling her to do. For example, journaling, meditation, getting out of the house. She's a stay-at-home mom. Exercising. I don't see her doing anything to try and reestablish trust. And I know she's still secretly texting this guy. I don't know how often or what they're talking about, but I know it's still happening. She does not know that I know. She seems to think she can maintain or sustain both our marriage and whatever she has going on with this guy. I feel like most of me recognizes that I still need to kill the puppy and end this marriage, but it terrifies me. I've never really lived on my own. Kind of crazy to admit that as a 40-plus-year-old, and even though I'm an introvert, I really don't like being alone. I will miss the company, the friendship, cuddling, the affection, the sex. I know she doesn't want the kids, so I'd almost certainly get primary custody. This is great because I love my kids, but I also have a demanding job that requires travel, so I don't know how I could manage them on my own. I would need to lean on family significantly. I also have significant assets, and the idea of her getting half of our assets, our property, along with alimony, really hurts, when she was the one who broke our marriage. Our state does allow for at-fault divorce, but it's apparently very rarely used. We also still have a great sex life, which I guess is a hysterical bonding thing? Whatever it is, I'm still enjoying it immensely, but it feels like it might be a little manipulative, particularly because the sex makes me feel closer to her emotionally when I'm trying to emotionally detach in order to protect myself. In any event, I made an initial appointment with a family lawyer to see what my options are. So this post is half venting, half looking for advice. Should I keep going down the path of sort out the divorce stuff in the background and keep acting like everything's okay, i.e. the 180? This is the path I'm on now, and in the meantime, I've been collecting as much evidence as possible of what she's been doing. I don't really like the idea of a trial separation, as I think that will just give her more time or space to step up her relationship with this guy. He lives about an hour and a half away, so seeing him now would be difficult for her logistically. But I was thinking about presenting an ultimatum of sorts, i.e., in this envelope are divorce papers, and in this envelope is a postnuptial agreement. Make your choice. I don't know. Open to any ideas. I recognize that I'm being a bit of a chump here, and I hate that, but my self-esteem wasn't the best to begin with, and now it's pretty much gutted. Flip my life. Alright, community, give him some responses, some advice. One Bad Shot says, your wife is lost to you. She has been thinking and acting like a single woman with a live-in male nanny, you, since your injury. This marriage is over. Trial separation is cheater speak for, I want to take your replacement for a test drive. I'll be back if it doesn't work out. Do not fall for that. When she leaves for good. No backsies. She is not your wife anymore. She is not your friend anymore. All she is now is your opponent in an expensive lawsuit and custody battle. Get with an attorney ASAP to protect your assets and parental rights. As soon as she tells her friends and family she is divorcing, she will be bombarded with underhanded schemes and devious ploys to screw you in the divorce. Protect yourself and your good name. Only talk to her by text and email. Document everything. You want to establish yourself as the custodial parent. Get a voice-activated recorder on you at all times. If she tries to screw you with bogus domestic violence claims, you will need this type of proof to protect yourself. Video cameras in the home are even better, but still keep the voice-activated recorder with you. Your wife is deep in the affair fog. You might be able to trade assets for child support. Tell her you want to make it easier to transition from full-time wife and mother into full-time girlfriend. You keep the kids and assets and go away. Sleeping Priest adds, when you're old, you're going to look back at the years that you've wasted second-guessing your happiness. Meet with your lawyer and start your divorce while maintaining a happy face. Make sure when you serve her the papers that you're financially secure. Then hit the gym and grow some balls for God's sake. Tony 5001 says, from what he's posted, he's going to get railed financially. He has money and she doesn't even work. 3 kids, major assets, good luck. Things are not that simple when serious money is involved. The OP chimed in here. This is one of my biggest concerns. She's been a stay-at-home mom for over 10 years, while I've consistently had well above average income, along with assets that took me decades to build. Her idea of her getting half, plus spousal support, is like twisting the knife and packing salt in the wound. I guess this is one for the lawyers. Cashry adds in, when I divorced a number of years ago, at about your age, I had to pay my, formerly unfaithful, ex alimony for a number of years, and also paid child support until my kids turned 18. My 401k was divided 50-50. She got the house. I inherited a rusty station wagon, some pots and pans, and a few personal items. Like you, I had a fair amount of money, though I can't say I was rich, and my payments ate much of it. I'm a professional, and for a time slept in my office, wondering if I should hang myself. I soon got a 2-room apartment with galley kitchenette, and remember sleeping on a futon with my youngest child. I started putting money away, then met a woman who lived in my apartment building. We hit it off right away. I found a better apartment and kept dating the woman I had met. Fast forward, it took me 9 years to propose, but I married the woman I met, and I have not regretted it. My ex never worked at anything that amounted to much, but my wife worked all her life and in a job complementary to my own. We live modestly, but have quite a bit of money and can afford pretty much anything we want. I have very little contact with my ex, and that's fine with me. My kids are adults and in what I believe are good relationships. I'm writing this because I know there is life after divorce, and if you are careful, life is far better. Money will take care of itself if you are resourceful. Expect a transitional period of 3 to 5 years. Tony5001 had another comment. Sorry to hear your story. It's very complicated. However, your last sentence might be the key. If you are willing to reconcile with her, make her sign a postnup to protect your assets and no alimony in case she decides to pursue this guy further. Single condition, no contact of any kind with that guy. Your story reminds me of the movie Casino, where the rich guy was throwing everything at his wife financially, but she was always in love with her first loser boyfriend and was willing to risk everything for it. Broke Reflection says, your wife cheated on you and is still cheating on you. She has no intention to stop. Maybe get better at hiding it? Maybe? She's been pretty obvious in my opinion. And not only is she cheating on you, but she doesn't sound like a good mother either, so you are staying married to have someone to have sex with. Kinda gross. Give your kids better. Find a job with less travel and commit to them, not the cheating wife. Also, you will be a single dad with decent income. Finding women won't be that hard. IRWinR89 says, I've been through what you have, so trust me, you have major codependency issues and you need therapy ASAP. You need to send her a strong wake-up call by filing for divorce. It can be slowed down or stopped if you wish. Also, pick up a book from Amazon called Now What? With a red cover. It pretty much explains exactly how your wife's childhood has led to this and gives men specific advice how to deal with it. Best of luck. But you need to show courage in this adversity and focus on you and actions on your best interest and mental health.